What you're about to hear is part of the Podgods Network. If you have a problem with anything you hear, please write it in an email and go fuck yourself. Enjoy the show!
Good morning, everyone. It is 12 o'clock straight up on the Atheist Agenda today on this November 24th, 2013. Any of you that are listening live, I do have the chat board up, so if you tune onto our page, you will hear me, directly, and you can chat. You can leave a message, and, you know, if it's anything mean, like I usually get, go fuck yourself. Other than that, I have a wonderful, I think, show planned for you. Now, I don't know how the execution is going to be of it, but I did a lot of research, a lot of planning, and what I did whenever I originally put this show together is I thought, you know, questions that Christians that, you know, I don't know, whatever religion, whether you're Christian, Islam, or Judaism, whatever it is, questions that people in general have to atheists. And, you know, so I kind of wanted to give kind of a little, I don't know, kind of a broad overview. These are questions that I have. These are questions that other radio show hosts have had. But, you know, mainly what has been, there's one or two there that I've never gotten. But for the most part, most of these questions are emails that I've gotten recently. And we'll take some of the more personal emails at the end of the show. But, you know, these are just general, you know, what's going on. And, you know, why do you believe in what you believe? And, you know, why don't you believe in anything? And, you know, moral issues and this, that, and the other. So I decided, well, what I was going to do was kind of put them all together, kind of consolidate them a little bit and give an answer to anybody out there that's listening to at least my perspective on, you know, what atheism is and what we do believe, or at least what I believe. I'm sure atheists differ from, you know, from each and every one, you know, because it's not really a unified religion for the most part. It's not a religion at all. So people have their own reasons for, you know, why they choose not to believe in a deity, and I'll just give you mine. And these, of course, are questions also that I've gotten from people, from friends, from just people wanting to know. I think one of the most interesting thing is it's like it's like whenever people approach an atheist, it's almost like we're approaching somebody that's gay. You know, you you want to know why they're gay, and you kind of want to know what they do. But you really don't want to fucking ask them because, you know, then you're afraid you're going to offend them in some way. Well, atheists are a little different. I think most of us, at least I do, love to talk about what I believe in. I don't care if you want to come up to me and say, well, why don't you believe in this? Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to take, because there's nothing for me to be offended about. So, that being said, and I'm still nursing my cold. Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. But we've got a pretty good show, I think, lined up here. It's going to be, I think, lengthy. And I was going to do it into two different shows. But then I thought, you know what? I don't want to do that. You know, I like to stick on one topic and that's it. We'll move to something else. Again, I don't know. Tomorrow we will be broadcasting again. And should be broadcasting right around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, same time as today. We'll see what happens, and we'll go. We'll kind of go in a different direction, I think. Don't know what the topic is yet. Like I said, they usually come to me, or I'll take maybe a listener. You know, some of the suggestions that I've gotten from listeners, and consequently, that's one of the emails that I got that I'll read to you later on. What someone had suggested. But I'm going to go down all these things and kind of give us a a broad spectrum, especially that are Christians are out there, people that are kind of wondering about your faith. I'll give you what it is, at least in my perspective, what I think atheism is anyway. I think most of the religions today are belief systems that were formed, thousands of years ago. I think personally by very ignorant and superstitious people, during a time where there was no scientific method, no formal schooling, and very little critical thought. These people made up many elaborate stories to address the basic questions of, where do we come from? Why are we here? And what is that big bright thing in the sky? And every culture had their own, unique kind of stories. There's some cultures that, worship the sun god. They just couldn't fucking explain it, so let's worship it. Fuck it. I think a priesthood arose to take advantage of the willingness of people to believe in their explanations. It's a marketing thing. We can control people if we can tell them what to believe. And people being, for the most part, people being this here, fucking sheep, don't believe just about anything they can tell them. It sounds good. I think they found that they could gain higher status, wealth, political control by perpetrating and expounding on myths. And they soon started demanding offerings and then sacrifices, sometimes human, to gods. Before long, they were actually killing and otherwise silencing the unbelievers. And this is still going on in many parts of the world today. I think the time to leave religion, everyone, is here. It's coming into the atheist time. There are more atheists that are non-believers or just people that are non-believers of any deity than at any time in history. And I think it's fucking fantastic. I think that we're here and we're making our voice known and we're causing people to think for the first time in their life, does this make sense? And I think most people have no fucking clue. And they're starting to question. I think that the human race is quite capable of dealing, with a world without mysticism, bullshit. They don't have to think, oh God, I've got to go on past this life. And they're going, maybe this is it. Let's enjoy it for what it is. And I know that the atheists that I know and the atheists that I speak to and all that kind of stuff, the happiest people in the world. It's whenever you got Christianity or religion or anything like that, these miserable fucking people. Oh, God. So I'm going to go on to one of the first questions. And this is a question I got in email. And they asked me, what exactly is an atheist? And the best way to explain it is an atheist is a person who is without a belief in a god or gods. It's very simple. However, I think if you look up atheist in certain dictionaries, you might encounter phrases like one who denies the existence of God, implying that we are in denial of reality or some shit like that. Infidel, non-believer, immoral, evil. Good examples of this could be found in, I think, older versions of the Webster Dictionary, for example. Webster was a Christian, and obviously he had an axe to grind against atheists. Now, not anymore, because, they had to legitimize that shit. But, yeah, an atheist is a person that just doesn't believe in a god or gods. It's simple. It doesn't really get much more than that. It's whenever you say, well, what exactly is a Christian? Well, a Christian believes that, there's this long diatribe answer. Atheists just aren't. There's really nothing to it, really. Just don't believe in a god or gods, and we don't have them rule our lives. Another question I got is, this is from Rosemary. And Rosemary said, don't you atheists worship Satan? Well, no, we don't. First of all, Satan is part of the, Judeo-Christian belief system. Furthermore, atheists don't generally believe in any gods, devils, demons, angels, spirits, gods, witches, miracles, or just about anything supernatural, ghosts, whatever, it don't matter. Why would we worship something that we don't believe exists? If we believed in Satan, that would mean that we would have to believe in God because God created Satan, according to the Bible. And if we don't believe in the Bible, and we don't believe in the God, then to us, Satan doesn't fucking exist. He was never created by anything. So, there you go. Very simple. If you can't wrap your head around that, then I don't know what to tell you. Another question I got this from John. And, of course, I don't know where anybody's from, but John said he wanted me to prove that God doesn't exist. That's what he wanted me to prove. And I can go on for an hour and a half show just about that alone. But I think a simple type of thing, because, you know, John, I want things to be simple for you. I don't want you to be confused, okay? I know Carl Sagan once wrote, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Christians, you guys are making an extraordinary claim. You claim that you know how the universe was created, that the universe was created by your personal God, and that God exists and is personally involved in every part of your lives. The burden of proof is on the one making claims. It's not on me to prove that God doesn't exist. It's up to you to prove that he does. And you can't. We simply say we don't believe it. That's it. I mean, you could also argue that it is hardly necessary to disprove something that has never been proven in the first place. God and Jesus and the Bible have never been proven. Ever. It is a book that was written. That's it. That's all the proof you have. By sheep herders, you know, and you know, and goat fuckers. I mean, that's what it was written by. That's it. There is no other proof but that. And I mean, I think that's the best thing that I can tell you. You know, I mean, if you ask me, you know, to prove that God doesn't exist, no, I don't have to. Prove that he does. That's what you have to do. That's your burden of proof. Oh, let's see. Katie asked me, how could you say that there is no God with a question mark and an exclamation point? Is that even proper? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. She says, I personally feel his power in church. Okay. All right, well. Personally, I don't know exactly what the fuck you think you felt. But from an atheist standpoint, we'd say you experienced a mass-induced psychosis delusion. That's what we would say. It is quite, you know, commonly accepted psychological phenomenon that whenever you're in a group of people, for any reason, you believe what the fuck they believe. That's it. You know, people in large groups can become emotionally charged rather easily. Also, you have to realize that church services are programmed to elicit that specific response from the audience. That's what they're there for. It's a show. Next time you go to church, if you're a Christian, next time you go into church, I want you to sit back without raising hands and going, oh God, and praying and all that kind of shit. And I just want you to watch what they do. It's a fucking show. That's it. And they're good at it. Or they wouldn't have 2.3 billion followers. They're good at it. And what I would suggest is do some research on group dynamics and the psychology of mobs, lynchings, witch hunts, rock concerts, etc. You know, I mean, if you get a mob together, you say you have an angry mob. Well, one person started out fucking angry, and then it turned everybody angry. Lynchings, what happens, in the South, whatever, said, we're going to have a lynching here. Well, you get a bunch of people that talk a bunch of shit. Next thing you know, you're hanging people. And you're probably sitting there not knowing what the fuck you're hanging them for. They get you, they incite shit. Witch hunts. People thought that witch hunts were real. They would go, they would find what they thought was a witch. They would burn them. They would drown them. They would do whatever they think, all because a group got together and decided it was the just thing to do. If you take rock concerts, for instance, you go to a rock concert, there's 4 guys or 5 guys playing on a fucking stage musical instruments, and you lose your fucking mind. May I remind you, it is 4 people no different than you are playing on a